Have you got something to hide? I'm thinking a hot water heater, an air conditioner, garbage bins, or perhaps you've got a spot where you need to give yourself a little bit of extra privacy. Well, if so, you are going to love this freestanding screen project. It's fast, it's easy, it's cost effective, and perhaps best of all, you can up or downscale it to suit virtually any situation. In my case, I had a very conspicuous hot water heater that I just wanted to make disappear. For this project, we cut decking into slats to use them for the screening, so you'll need enough decking boards to suit. I used treated pine, 90mm by 22mm, and aimed to reduce wastage. I bought mine in 6-metre lengths. That meant I can cut them down to 2-metre pieces, no wastage. Posts, I used 90 by 90mm that were 2.4 metres long, and they're H4 treated pine. 2 to 3 20-kilo bags of rapid set concrete per post hole, and I used higher strength 32 MPa. A long stake, hardwood or steel, at least 1.4 metres long, and screws or nails to suit your needs. The rough rule of thumb is that your nails or screws need to be at least twice as long as the material that you're fixing off. Our decking boards are 22mm, that means we need to be using nails or screws that are at least 45mm in length, and of course they need to be suitable for exterior use, so galvanised or one of the other exterior type coatings. Tools you need are digging spades, tape measure and level, a square, clear plastic tube for a water level, a string line, power saw, driver drill or nail gun, and a hammer. First the set out. It's freestanding, so no wall attachments. I left around 700mm on the end so you can get around the side, and then I made it 1500mm out from the wall, which allows room for work to be done on the heater if needed. I made mine just under 2 metres wide, so I only needed 2 posts. Once you get over about 2 metres, you need to start looking at adding a third post. In fact, you want to put a post around about every 1.5 metres. Once you've done your rough set out, step back and have a look at the area from all different angles and make sure you're going to get the screening coverage that you need. When you're happy with your post locations, you can start digging your holes. Hole size will vary with soil. Looser soils need larger holes, but they should be a minimum of 400mm wide on both sides and 450mm deep. Add a layer of concrete mix, about 50mm, to the bottom of the hole and then drop your post in to check its height. You'll notice that I've cut an angle to the head of the post. That's to let water run off and reduce the risk of rot. Once you have the height right, in my case 2 metres out of the ground, add some water, another bag of concrete, a bit more water, and tamping down as you do to remove air pockets. Then check the post is sitting square and that it is plumb. Don't forget to check both faces. You can now add the rest of the concrete and water to fill the hole. Take your long stake and position it around 500mm on the outside of your second post hole. Check your measurements and align the stake with the face of the concreted in post before hammering it in. Wrap the string line around the concreted in post and bring the line to the stake, keeping the line roughly level and loosely tie it off. Fill your clear tube with water, making sure there are no bubbles. Keeping both ends level so water doesn't run out, you hold one end against your preferred height, the string line on the set post, and the other against the place you need to transfer the level to, the stake. Now get the top of the water in the tube level with, in our case, the string line on the post, and the water at the other end will then settle to the same height. So just adjust the string line on the stake to match, pull taut and tie off. Water level is a very handy tool to have in your kit as they make it super easy to transfer heights across long distances and even around corners. Measure from the top of your fixed post down to the string line, and then measure and mark the same distance down on your next post. Drop the second post in its hole and start repeating the concreting process, but this time you need to make sure that that marked line on the post is aligned with the string line. I wanted my boards on my screen to be aligned with the house stump screening, so I used the water level to transfer that height for the lowest board. Then we're off. Position the lowest board, check level and fix off. And a tip here to speed things up for you. Measure between your post top and bottom. The space should be roughly the same. Then work out how many slats you're going to need to go up. That's the width of the slat plus the spacing. So in my case, that's 112mm, 90 for the board and then 22mm for the actual gap. Then cut all of your boards at once and they're there ready to go, super fast to put them up. Lay a board flat as a spacer on top of your first slat and then position and fix off your next board. And then repeat until you hit the top. You do need to put a batten behind the decking boards in between every post. And the idea of this is that it's going to stop the boards from bowing and twisting over time. Measure top to bottom of the slats, cut a bit of decking to suit, position, check plumb, and then fix off from the front. Here you'll want to use screws or nails that are only about 40 millimeters or less so they won't protrude at the rear. That's the build all done. Now for some paint. I want mine to blend into the background so it's getting a split paint job. Masking tape for the line between the two colours, a coat up the top, and then one down the bottom. Once the first coat is on, it makes it easier to spot the nail holes and other flaws, so I'm filling them between coats. Then a quick sand before the final coat. I'm going to add some simple landscaping, a planting mound in front and shaped around. A landscape rake makes profiling the soil nice and easy. Use the tines to shift soil and then flip over and use the back to level and smooth. Adding a fragrant climbing star jasmine on the left, another perfumed climber, Stephanotis, on the right. Colourful New Zealand flax either side, then a few variegated native lomandra to fill it out. Spread a little controlled release fertiliser, water in with a soil and root stimulating product like a fortified seaweed, good layer of mulch, water well, and it's done. It's gone from a purely functional space to a great little garden feature point.